So, just how bored are you? This video will test that. There's nothing on Netflix, there's nothing on HBO, there's nothing on Prime. So I figured I'd grab the camera and just run around today. The rain is moving in finally. We have had 8 days of no rain. It's been bad. So I got to run around and get a bunch of stuff done. I'm going to run over to the Lowe's. I'm going to run over to the other house, get some stuff done over there. Then I'm going to come back. I got to do a bunch of farm chores. So if you're really bored, if you don't feel like working, if you're stuck inside, watch this video. Otherwise, there's nothing to be gained by watching this. You will learn nothing. I promise you that. You will learn nothing from watching this video. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my drone. I'm going to start at the back side of the property. And we have 40 acres out here. I'm going to start at the back side. We have 40 acres here. And I'm going to fly this way if it's not too windy. I'll fly and show you the upper fields, and then I'm going to fly back just to try and get, just so you can get a feel for the property. But it's starting to get a little windy, so this might be risky with my drone, and then we'll go forward. Every morning and every evening, we do the same thing out here. Girls are down there at the barn, at the back dam. So today, pine straw day. We're going to do pine straw on these big magnolias because they drop leaves all the time, so mulch doesn't work in here. But if you remember, those big pallets of mulch, the bushes are all trimmed. The new mulch is down. Everything's starting to look good. Let me take you out back and I'll show you the actual back here, but that's looking good. So that mulch pile is just about gone. So, man, it looks so nice to have fresh mulch. Came out here today and ran by Lowe's, and for 19 bucks, the best 19 bucks I could spend today, I bought these hibiscus trees, planted them in here. I got 2 of those over here. The pool looks good, the green looks good. We are this back area. Ryan trimmed all the knockout roses. They were out of control. This area looks really good here. Man, these things have grown. They were like 3 feet tall when I planted them. The knockout roses look good. This back here, believe it or not, for just being sort of a wild garden, actually looks good. I need to trim these roses. So my day is continuing, but I got to move fast. I've got, I had John, when he picked up the pine straw, picked up some wheat straw because I got to go up to the high potassium field and finish that one line. We didn't get wheat straw on it. This is kind of cool. We actually, as we say in the Marine Corps, we got a clusterfuck going on here in the shed, but the nice thing is I can pull my UTV in here. I don't have to take it up to the barn anymore. Instead of driving it up there when it rains, I can just pull it in here, which is kind of nice. So I got to get my gun. I got to go check my raccoon traps. I got to go put that hay out. And then I got lumber that tomorrow, John's coming out here tomorrow, and I bought some 2x4x12s that we're going to use up in the garden, sort of trellis kind of things that we're going to be putting up there, and he's going to stain the last 4 feet. So anyways, I gotta go. I got my raincoat with me because I know I'm gonna get rained on. Up in the garden, we do this on most of our gardens. We actually put up either 2x2s or 2x4s. Up here we're going to use 2x4s, and we actually use this real heavy yarn, and we sort of a trellis system. So I ordered a bunch of them from Lowe's, and what I'm doing is I'm actually taking them and just spacing them out, and I'm just going to let them sit here under this barn. I got a whole bunch more to bring up here, and then I'm going to give them a few days to dry out. They're real heavy. They're really wet. I've got a bunch of stain left over from all of our projects, and most of it is just water-based stain. So we'll probably stain about 4 feet up because we're going to sink these about 3 feet in. They're 12 feet. So that'll give us a 9-foot trellis that we can work with. Now I got a kink in my neck. Man, that's a lot of wood. These things are heavy, dude. Man, they're soaking wet. So I'm going to have to tell John he's going to have to wait. He's going to come tomorrow, but they're so moist. They're so wet. I'm going to have to let these dry out for several days before we stain them. So he's not going to be able to do it tomorrow. Now I got to get some corn and go put some corn down in the corner of the pond. Every night and every morning we have deer come out in the corner, and we've also started to have a couple turkeys out there. I did catch another raccoon. That makes number 31, I think. Where our goal is to take 50 to 75 raccoons out of these backwoods. They're just absolutely infested. They kill off the turkey population, and if we ever want to have any chickens up here and sort of free range them, we have to get rid of them, period. If you didn't watch my last video, we actually bought this container. We built this gravel pad, and we actually had them put this here just for some extra dry storage. And I'm going to keep probably a cord of firewood in here. We keep some of our lawn equipment, but I also keep my corn in here. It's a great place to store corn too. Feel the sprinkles are falling. I have a, if you've never heard of Agribowl is a farm report. It's actually really cool. You can go in there and you can put a pin where your property location is, and it gives you all kinds of data. It'll tell you all rainfall amounts, temperatures, average temperatures. Like I went and looked in the last 7 days, we've had 0.14 inches of rain. And then it says rainfall expected over the next 24 or 7 days. And I think we have 1.8 inches coming in here over the next couple days. So that's why I'm trying to get all this done, because we finally got some rain. This place is dry as heck. I don't want to over explain if you already know this, but the house down there, pond, barn, 7,000 square foot fenced and vegetable garden. That field over there is set up for the wildlife and the deer. This is actually set up for wildlife, but we tilled 3 strips into here. This is at least 100 feet long, each one of these strips. And I've got, I always forget, cucumbers and yellow squash. This is pumpkin, butternut squash, watermelon. This is going to be, let's see here, zucchini, cantaloupe, and whatever. So, but I ran out of wheat straw, so I need to cover over this last little bit with wheat straw. Plus we put in clover seed and everything else. Up here, this was my lemon to lemonade field. David came up and ripped a couple rows for me, and I had to go back and sort of repair that because it was too aggressive. But we're putting in corn rows every 6 feet. In between that, we're going to grow brassica, clover, all kinds of beautiful stuff. This field that looks ugly right now is going to turn beautiful green in about 2 weeks. Just lush green. But I planted a ton, you can see a ton of hybrid 85 corn. Look at that. Man, there is just a ton of corn here. It is all coming up. Some people will say, Doc, that's too much corn. The problem is my concern is that the deer are going to come in here and start nipping this corn off, so I want to have a bunch of it out here. But this is kind of making lemonade out of lemons. This area was just nothing. So anyways, I'm going to go spread this wheat straw. Stupid me. first thing I do every day, which I forgot, is I spray this on my boots, my socks, and my pants. This keeps not only the red ants off me, but it keeps chiggers and ticks. You do not want to be picking up a tick around here, but especially the chiggers, man. They can be bad. So as expected, it's raining lightly. That's done. So we got all the rows covered. It's time to go feed the babies. But I did want to touched on this yesterday about starter fertilizers and specialty fertilizers that build roots. I really want to caution you against using fertilizers with weird numbers. This field wouldn't grow anything. Everything that popped up would just die. It would turn white or purple and die. And we finally, after months and months and months of planning and planning and planning, we finally got rye to take, we got clover to finally start to take, and now some turnip to start to take. And hopefully some buckwheat too. You know, a 4:1:2 ratio, if you look at every extension website in the world, they're going to tell you, in the absence of a soil test, use a 4:1:2 ratio for general maintenance. If you get a soil test that says you have high phosphorus, then use low phosphorus. 4:1:2, what's PGF complete? 16:4:8. So that's a 4:1:2 ratio. 4:1:2 times 4 is 16:4:8. That's why it's 16:4:8. But what we finally got to take in here, and this is pretty cool. So you can see this now. So I've got white clover. That's pretty cool there. Got white clover, crimson clover. I've got ryegrass. I probably have a little bit of wild kale in here. I should start to see a little bit of buckwheat pop up. Let's see if I find one somewhere. There's one right there. So that right there is actually buckwheat. And then I should also start to see a little bit of turnip coming here. Sorry, I'm texting John at the house. He's giving me a status on what's going on over there. Oh, crap. Did I put the garage door down? Oh, I got to text him. Hold on. The pecan trees actually look pretty good this year. So I just got off the phone with John, and I told him, I said, start doing some research and find me someone that can bring some manure out here. We've got, the last video I talked about these, each one of these piles is a full big truckload. And I think I've got 11 piles out here. And so what we're going to do is, if you look, if I kick them, it's already starting to turn black down the bottom. But here's the problem. The problem with wood chips is the carbon to nitrogen ratio. And basically it needs to steal nitrogen from your soil to decompose. So we want to do is we want to take this and we want to put a layer of wood chips, a layer of manure, some dirt booster, and then keep repeating that. And then we'll mix it up and make a pretty good sized pile out here. Then what we can do is, after the growing season, we can just come out to all these strips that we have out here, and we can put a nice layer of this mulch on top of it, just let it sit all winter. And then that's it. We'll just plant right back inside of it. So someone put a comment down below yesterday. They said, Doc, get rid of those tomato cages. You need to do a trellis. I get it, dude. I get it. The only reason I'm using them is these tomato cages are like 6 years old, and I had them. So until we get this 2x4 system in place, I have got the tomato cages out, but they're just temporary. So this whole row in here is all tomatoes. Peppers, tomatoes, different kind of tomatoes, another row of tomatoes. This is going to be carrots and spinach. This is going to be snap peas. This one is already planted. You can see here, what are you? You got zucchini and, gosh, I already forget. This is why we put tags, Doc. Where are the tags? Here's a tag. What is this? And this is straight neck yellow squash. So, yesterday I got 3 5-gallon buckets full of water in a cup, and I literally came out here and poured a cup on each one of these plants because we're drying out. I mean, we haven't had rain in 8-9 days. We've been close to 80 degrees, sunshine. So thankfully we got the rain moving in. That's why I'm so happy even to be out here working in the rain. Let me go put this out, and I gotta figure out what else I gotta get done before So let me explain this. Had my local power company came out, real nice guy, came out and marked. I only have one underground anything here, and he came out and marked it because what we're going to do is we're going to take that old shallow well, we're going to trench across here. We're going to put irrigation, and then I'm going to put a spigot over there because we don't have a spigot over there from this shallow well. Then he's going to come and he's going to trench through the woods. He's going to trench 500 feet all the way through the woods, all the way up to that field. So what we do is we put a 2-inch high pressure pump down at the pond with a long intake, and if we run into a drought period, we actually irrigate up into those fields, and that solves our whole problem. So we got pond water for irrigation. This is an emergency backup well. It's a shallow well, plus we use it for irrigation. Then we have the 600-foot deep well that we installed. Gracious, man. All right, let's go feed the deer. I keep saying that, and I have to feed them. This is actually pretty cool looking. So this is that corner. They had to take, when they took all the trees off of our pond berm, they came back in here and shaved off a layer. They needed virgin dirt for the pond berm, and so I sort of came back. Look at all that crimson clover in there. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's just amazing. So that's ryegrass and crimson clover all growing in there. It's just really cool looking. Let's get the baby's food out. Man, it just looks so nice. The power guy that was marking said, "How do you get that pond that color?" Told him I use Blue Bayou. Blue Bayou. They make 3 tones: light blue, dark blue, and black. And I use the middle tone, and it helps with the algae. But one thing we did is I ordered some rows of Sharon trees, because their root system never gets deep and these don't get big, and these will have actual red flowers on them. So we planted these all along this backside over here, nothing on the front, and that'll actually be a nice little color pop. There was a hawk. We have a ton of hawks around here. There was a hawk sitting on that pole yesterday, late afternoon, early evening, and he was just staring at this shoreline. Waiting for anything. Okay, frog, snake, anything. But let me just throw a little spinner down here and let me see if anything will bite. We'll see what happens. Oh gosh, what a bluegill. The size of him. Look at the size of him, boy. Man, he's a monster. Oh, I don't want to hurt you now. The Doc's gonna put me back. Hey, I'm a dogfish. Man, look at the size of that thing. He is just great. Hello there, hello there. There's FedEx. You know what that is? That's my new post hole auger. To put those 2x4s in to plant the orchard. So, hallelujah. Go get that right now. You know what that is? That is my post hole digger. I think. How much does it weigh?
I'm not sure.
We'll just throw it up in the shed if you don't mind.
This one and that one.
This one, okay. I guess I could help him, huh? That's nice of you, Doc, helping the FedEx guy. Oh, man. Now we can do some planting. Okay, another raccoon down. That makes 30, 31. So some people ask me what I use. I'm going to try and find a link to this trap if you got a raccoon problem. There's a lot of traps out there like Have-A-Hearts, and I'm telling you, the trigger system on those, I basically threw away traps that are like that. This one has a swing arm, and man, it never misses, and it's a fantastic. It ain't cheap. I'll try and find a link to it. But what I'm using to bait these, you can use dog food. I've used dog food. You can use anchovies. But really, all I'm doing is I'm taking some Moonshine Gold, which is our deer attractant, and then on top of that, I'm pouring a little bit of molasses and maybe throw a little bit of the dog's food on top of it. And man, so we have pretty much taken care of that end of the property, that infestation of raccoons. I came down here to the creek and I saw paw prints, so I said, so I have had traps out here for 2 days. I've taken 2 more raccoons. Our goal is to take 50 to 75 off the property, just kind of wipe out that population, because we'll never have chickens and they're killing the turkey population. So this is the creek. This is the natural spring that runs in down to my pond down here. And it comes up into this thick area over here. It's really cool. So this was the bridge that was here when we first bought this property. I can't tell you how many people, including myself, that have busted their ass on this thing. So a few months ago, I had my guys come build Mr. Monster, and I can actually drive the UTV over this. And we go back up into the bald spot and all that area. Okay, so that's a wrap. Nothing else to say. Doc.